Howdy folks, I am Ruzkiel and welcome back to Let's Play Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair. In the last one, we figured out how the fire was started, and we also figured out that Nagito had the duct tape on his mouth before he was, stabbed a bunch. I don't know if we can... I'll continue to keep saying tortured because, I mean, when you're inflicted with that many wounds, that's kind of what it is, whether it was actual... I don't know, whatever. I can't wrap my head around the terminology that I want to use there. But anyway, the duct tape was on, then he was wounded and killed, and the fire was started by lining up the panels from the door to the lighter, which knocked the lighter over, starting the fire. Which is exactly what Hajime just said. A domino effect? You mean those tiles kids play with by lining them up and tipping them over? In place of those tiles, the killer used the Monokuma panels. Oh, that's actually a really cool diagram. Man, I kind of wish we had this in evidence. So when we opened the warehouse door, the first panel toppled into the second. And from there they fell like dominoes until they reached the lighter at the end. The other thing I really don't understand is the plushie with the hole in it. But wouldn't it be obvious that those big panels were falling over? That's probably why they turned off the lights in the warehouse so we couldn't notice them. So the reason the warehouse was so dark was to hide the domino effect? And one more thing. There was something else the killer did to hide the domino effect, right? I guess if they hid the visual, they probably wanted to hide the sound too. So that would be where the MP3 player comes into play. All right, straightforward enough. I'll accept it. You're talking about the MP3 player, right? That hymn blaring throughout the warehouse masked the sound of the falling panels. The inside of the warehouse felt even darker because our eyes were still used to the bright sunlight outside, but then the darkness allowed a hymnal blared throughout the warehouse at full volume. Hey, do you guys hear something? Yeah, it's really damn loud. Does Nagito like listening to this depressing crap? No, I'm not talking about the music. And as if on cue, it suddenly started. The big old fire. That's it! So the strange sound was actually the sound of the panels falling. But those sounds weren't the only strange thing. Right? Looking back on it, it was also strange when we opened the door to the warehouse. Yeah, because she was having an issue opening it slowly. It's fine, I'll open it slowly. No, that's not the problem. Seriously, it'll be fine. With those words, Akane brushed off everyone's warnings and slowly opened the door to the warehouse. Clatter, clatter, clatter. Huh? It's not opening. Is there something blocking the door? I can barely open it. I knew it. It's a trap. Seriously, just stop it, okay? Didn't I tell you it'll be fine? I just gotta use it a little more force. What happened to opening it slowly? Akane ignored their protest, and with a mighty kick, the door flew open. Kablam. Gosh, we see that little scene often enough, and I wonder why. So the door's being blocked by a Monokuma panel. And when we opened the door, the domino effect started, and the falling panels eventually reached the lighter. Yeah, that's how the warehouse caught on fire. At least, that's how it looks. You don't look so sure. At the time, Akane mentioned that she could barely open the door. Because a panel was blocking it, right? But the blocked doorway, there wasn't enough space for a person to fit through, right? Is that the problem? How did it... Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about the fact that how the person would get out after setting it up. It's a major problem. I mean, the door was the only entrance to the warehouse. So if the door was the only entrance to the warehouse... I see, so the problem Chiaki is talking about is the killer couldn't have left. Couldn't take any merch. They could have hidden inside, we couldn't see inside. Yeah, we'll just... I mean, we know what the answer is, and I'm not going to be stupid and waste life anymore. Waste life, especially considering how badly that rebuttal showdown went. I say badly, but I mean, it seems like a reasonable mistake to make. Especially considering there were 3 statements that you could slash in a row, it almost seemed like the time to go for the third statement, because the first two would be the red herrings that you'd want to go for immediately. If the panel was so close to the door that it could be barely opened, the killer inside the warehouse wouldn't be able to leave, right? Now that you mention it, does that mean they were hiding inside? Who? We were all outside warehouse! Based on the patterns up until now, I believe some kind of setup was used. You don't have to think so hard. There's actually only one person who could have possibly done this. You don't mean... But if that's true, this murder... Hajime, what do you mean? The person who set up the domino effect inside the warehouse. There's only one person who could have done that. I mean, it's really not that surprising. Again, I go back to the fact that he was totally willing to work with the killer. I'm glad that I didn't lose track of my own mind and click on someone wrong by mistake. What if it was Nagito? Why'd you bring him up? He's a victim, you know. He wasn't just the victim. Maybe? Huh? Not just a victim? What does that mean? He was a victim. And he was the perpetrator, too. Maybe? Are you saying this was a suicide? Oh, don't be stupid. His body was covered in torture wounds. Or did you already forget that? Are you saying those were all self-inflicted? But Nagito might do something like that, don't you think? That's not the issue. He was tied up, remember? Even for a creep like Nagito, it'd be impossible for him to tie his own arms and legs. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, as long as you understand. It seems we need to discuss how Nagito was able to tie himself up. Need to discuss? That's not necessary at all. No matter how much you think about it, it's clearly impossible. Like you said, it seems impossible if you think about it, but I feel like I'm overlooking something. Oh, goody. Something that I don't know. Oh, the burned rope, the survival knife, the plushie. Gosh, this is gonna beat me. I know it. This is gonna be the hard one. To actually tie up your own arms and legs, that's obviously impossible. Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible. You couldn't do much with the free arm. It'd be impossible if you were by yourself. How about if you use your teeth, or if you use your front tail? Take off. Dirty joke. Is that a dirty joke? Oh. Okay, so the more I think, okay, so part of me that's thinking about this is maybe the burned rope was created beforehand so that he could tie it around himself and tie it around his wrist on the side that the fire would start on. But how does he stab? How does he? You can do three. You could do 3 limbs with one arm, and like she said, and like Akane said, her teeth. But how do you get the last? How do you get your right? How would he get his right hand impaled with a knife? Maybe I'm going too far in my thought process. Maybe that comes later. Okay, I'm gonna have to read these again. Shoot. Okay, so if our assumption that Nagito committed suicide is correct, Nagito should have tied himself up too. See, I'm not entirely sure that it was all self-orchestrated though. Oh, but the problem is, if they tied him up, then how would the accomplice get out of the building? Because they would have to set up the panels. Nagito has to be the one to set up the panels, and then he has to get tied up. Crap. Maybe he did do it on his own. Okay. That's okay, right? Don't think I can use that, so what's my evidence? Survival knife. torture rooms, burned rope, duct tape, the plushie. The plushie boggles my mind. Survival knife. Survival... What does a survival knife say? Survival knife that was stabbed into Nagito's right hand. The knife is from the military base. Safe to assume that the wounds on Nagito's arms and legs were caused by the knife. I can't contradict by yourself because I think we've established that no one was there. And obviously we can get rid of the last statement because yeah, he didn't use his front tail, as Akane so delicately put it. That leaves the teeth and but he had his mouth duct tape, so that leaves the first statement. That really only leaves the first statement for contradiction. Why? Why are we doing all the stuff that I have no idea how to do? That I haven't figured out yet? Crap! How the hell did he do it? Nagito should have tied himself up too. That's okay, right? See, and even this doesn't really help jog whatever neurons need to be firing in my brain. Okay, so to actually tie up your own arms and legs. Nope. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just using the wrong piece of evidence. I tried the survival knife, but maybe it was supposed to be the burned rope. Okay, that's what it was. Okay, so I had the right idea, but I totally forgot about the fact that I had burned rope as part of my evidence. Damn. I'm always right there on the precipice of just getting it, but I never think to use the right combination the first time around. Ah, what a bummer. Okay, we'll go a bit further. I can probably cut a lot of that stuff out. Hold on a sec, isn't that premise flawed? What? I mean, it's no mistake that his arms and legs were... No, it should have been both of his arms. The rope on his right arm was completely burnt up. Based on that, you can't say he was tied up. But the thing that I don't get is how would he stab his own right hand? I don't get that part at all. That was just burned up by fire. He should have been tied up before then. It burned up because of the fire. Like I said, it might look like that. But that was part of the trap. There's concrete evidence that proves it. The proof that burnt up rope on Nagito's right arm is a trap is his right sleeve. It's completely unburned. Yep. Take a close look at his right sleeve. Ah, see, I was right there, on the precipice, and then it all just really falls into place. Ugh, God, I wish I was better at this. Even though the rope was burnt up, his sleeve wasn't burned at all. Wouldn't you agree? A burn like this, no matter how you think about it, it's unnatural. That rope was burned in advance, so it would look like it was burned in the fire. Then Nagito's right arm wasn't tied up, right? He was able to move it freely, right? Yeah, that should be the case. Hajime, that's awesome! I'll let you cop a few if you want. Akane, you should not give it away for free. Make sure they pay you first. I'm so glad these ladies are around. That is definitely wrong. You're a freaking Yakuza! That should be your main line of business, man! Fine, I just gotta get a Benjamin from him before I let him touch me, right? That's not what I meant! I'm talking about Nagito! Oh, that's what you were dissatisfied about. Got it, okay. I mean, even if his right hand wasn't tied up, the knife was still stabbed into it. It's impossible to stab a knife into your right hand with your right hand. Well, that much is obvious. Hajime, you tricked me. Give me back that Benjamin. Okay, first off, you never gave me one in the first place. So, what, I'm getting double charged and not getting anything? God, that's awful. What kind of line of business is this? Your customer service sucks, Akane. Not only did she try to charge me, now she wants the money back? What the hell? Hold on, there should be a way. Then hurry up and spew it. If it's something lame, I'll make you give back the Benjamin with 10,000% interest. Okay, a way to stab yourself in the right hand using only your right hand. It's okay. There's definitely an answer for this. Okay. Now on to the other thing that I have no idea how it happened. The burned rope, the survival knife, the plushie, the blood on the girder. Ooh, the blood on the girder wasn't up here before. Straight line makes sense. Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right hand with his right hand? If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand that way? Is he a throwing knife expert? Maybe he propped the knife somehow and slammed his right down onto it. But the handles propped it onto what? If he just propped the knife, he could have used his bound left hand. If you're tied up, your arms won't bend that easily. We don't know if his left hand could even reach the right hand. Okay, so... when they say propped it up, basically what they're saying is that it would be hilt down on the floor, and then from above he would stab his right hand into it. But somehow he would also have to turn his hand around so it was palm down to the floor, and then stab the remainder into the ground. There is a lot of stuff going on at the end there too. I'm probably gonna have to review a lot of. I'm probably gonna have to review a lot of that because the throwing the knife up in the air, that's not what's gonna be. But I don't want to flip through it all. Oh my goodness! Look at how little time there is. That's not good. Okay, so I don't think I have anything to really counter. He couldn't bend his limbs. Could he have used his left hand? Maybe I just need to use the girder with the propping. Okay, did I ever read this? If Nagito could only use his right hand to stab himself in the palm, then how did he do it? Monokuma panels, the oil lighter. I never knew you could do this. Torture rooms. Burned rope. Survival knife. Monokuma plushie. Blood on the girder. I'm still not I'm not entirely convinced that this is it, but I'm not sure how else to do it, because I think the blood on the Gerber. Wow, blood on the Gerber. That's really dark. No, don't get blood on your babies. I think the blood on the girder was used in tandem with the spear. That makes more sense. And throwing it doesn't make sense. So, what about the left arm? Now, what did he prop it with? Yeah. So even if his hand was free, how would he stab his right hand with his right hand? If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand that way? Is he a knife throwing expert? Maybe he propped the knife somehow. So it wasn't that, and slammed his right hand down onto it. Propped it onto what? Now this is where it gets busy. If he just propped the knife, he could have used his bound left hand. Could have used his bound left hand. But your limbs don't bend that easily. Bound left hand. Ah, the torture runes. He couldn't... His arm was sliced. Okay. That's... Okay. once I had a chance to focus on that statement, that's when things started coming together a little bit. Okay. It seems reasonable. Now the question is, how does it work? Because I'm not entirely sure myself. Yeah, because, I mean, it's mostly just because of the inconsistency in the wounds between his left arm and what happened to his legs. Just, okay, maybe, yeah. As soon as I saw it, I started double thinking. I started doubting myself again. Oh my god. What happened to my silver spoon? I swear to God, I'm taking just as much damage, if not more, than usual. Maybe if they put the hilt in the plushie, and then maybe that's the prop. If you put the hilt in the plushie, slam your hand on it, kind of like they're saying. The thing is, it was kind of ways away. Well, then again, he had his hand free, so he could have thrown it away. Still doesn't really answer how it was impaled into the floor. I suppose maybe the other question is, was it actually impaled in the floor? I'm gonna try that. It's a little iffy, but I've got nothing else really at this point. Huh, that was the very next one, too. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the propping. Because I don't think... Because the throwing it just doesn't seem right. And I think that's pretty self-evident. Okay, so we got the propping. Propped it somehow. Okay, it was the plushie. So that's how the plushie ties into it. Wow. I have no idea where we are. I have no idea where we're going. I will split regardless. It's the end. I will see you in the next one. Farewell. Oh, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. That's how it goes. Farewell.
Bye.